Okay, so in this video we're going to start to have a look at how loops work. Now loops are very useful and very important when it comes to computer science. If you're repeating lots of lines of code, you can probably find that you'll be able to use a loop. So it's basically something that repeats over and over again. So the loop that we're going to have a look at is called a for loop. So I'm going to show you a very basic one to start with. So if we say for x in range, and we'll say 5, then we want it to do something. Notice that here it is tabbed across, it is supposed to do that. So we might want to do the following thing 5 times. Print the word hello. If we run that, you'll see that it prints out the word hello 5 times. Now the reason it does that is because of the following. We're saying for x. Now x is like a counter. It's a variable really, but it's a bit like a counter. And it always starts at 0 unless you tell it not to. So we're saying for x in range 5. 5 is how many times this is going to loop. And by this I mean anything that's tabbed in across here. So if I was to also at the end write print end, that wouldn't print out 5 times, that would just print out once because it's not included in the loop. So if I run that, it prints out hello 5 times and then it just prints out end. So that's because it's not tabbed in underneath the for loop. Okay, so we can see what x is. So instead of printing out the word hello, we could say, alright, we'll print out what x is. And you'll notice that each time this loops or iterates, x will increase. So what you're going to find is that it's going to start at 0 and then count up to 4. Now you might be wondering why it's only gone to 4 if we told it to do range 5. Well, it has actually looped 5 times because it's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times round. Now you might not really want it to do that. You might want it to say, okay, well I want it to start at 1. I'd rather it counted from 1 to 5. So in that case, we could say, okay, start at 1 and I want you to loop 6 times. So if we run that, you'll see that now, not loop 6 times, sorry, stop before it gets to 6. So now you can see that it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom here. So, okay, well, maybe we want to count up to 100. So we're going to go for 101. But I want it to count up in 2s. So if I run that, you'll see down the bottom that now it's counting up in 2s, starting at 1. Now, obviously, that's giving us all the odd numbers. We might want to change that so that it does all the even numbers. So we'll include 0 as being an even number. No, we'll start at 2. And we're going to finish when it gets to 101. And we're going to go up in steps of 2. And you can see now that it counts up all the even numbers starting at number 2. You can also count backwards. So we could say, okay, well, we're going to start at 100. And we're going to finish when it gets to 0. And I want it to count down, so I want it to count in steps of -2. So now when I run it, you'll see that it starts off at the top as 100 and it counts all the way down until it gets to 2. So yeah, that's how we use the for loop to count up using the counter in a very sort of simple way. Now obviously this doesn't really do a lot at the moment, so in the next video along in the playlist we'll have a look at how you could use this for loop to do something a little bit more useful.